Hey guys, so I'm just gonna say about my experience being with a trans-attracted men, and I'm not talking about any specific men. I'm talking about the men who I come across on dating sites. The reason why I try to date on dating sites that are mostly either trans-specific dating sites or the dating site that is kind of a hookup dating sites rather than Tinder or any other places where people try to be fake, people try to have all sort of mental issues, and they try to put their best version out, and you don't know their worst version, which is behind the closed door basically. So I prefer when I know somebody how they are, exactly how they are, and I think the best way to find that type of person when you are on these hookup sites or when you are in trans attracted site, because people feel like that's a safe space for them to be more open about themselves, what they like, what they don't like, rather than playing games and stuff. Of course, occasionally you find people who play games and all. So my experience with trans attracted men, there are several types of men. Some trans women give name to some people by calling them trainee chasers, okay? And some trans women, again, not every man who's attracted to trans is a chaser, okay? But there are some men who can come into that category. First of all, I normally don't like people when they say, oh, you're the best of both worlds. Guys, if you're using that phrase, please don't use that phrase. That's something that tells us like you're here for example, if you're dating somebody if you have sexual preference for someone who's some sort of skin color or race, any particular race, and if you say, oh, you only want to date that particular race, that's nothing wrong with that. The only problem is that even in that particular race, not everybody is same. Everybody is different. Everybody is individual. So there will be some people who will get offended by saying that, oh, so you just wanted to date because I'm Asian, so I'm gonna say, oh, you just wanted to date an Asian person. That's why you're meeting me only. That's the only reason you want me. Nothing else apart from that. Whereas people can have better qualities, different qualities. That's why you want to date them. So similarly, I refrain away from people who or giving them labels and stuff. But I just refrain away from people who say they want to date only best of both worlds or things like that. If somebody has a sexual preference, any particular kink or fantasy, I like them to be honest about themselves when they are, like, before meeting somebody. Like, you should put it in your profile basically, and that's easier when you're on a dating site that is almost like a hookup site, so you can be honest about yourself without thinking that people will judge you or people will not like you, because they will maybe some people who are not gonna like you, but then the ones who will come across you or who will try to contact you still knowing all that, they will be the type of people who would be really into you, so you will have less chances of meeting a wrong person or having a bad experience basically. So my experience as a trans woman, pre-op trans woman, meeting guys, it's very skeptic, because I come across some guys who are like, oh, I want to be discreet, and especially when people say they are discreet, most of the time they have a girlfriend or they have a wife. That's why they want to be discreet. Especially when you're not like you're not. If I'm talking about myself, I'm fairly convincing, so when I go out, I don't get clocked as easily and stuff. So when people still, for example, if somebody's still saying, oh, I'm discreet and this and that, I was like, I have no time for drama. That's not my thing. Feel free to go and find somebody who's also discreet for you. And there's nothing wrong being discreet, but just find somebody who's into you. I'm not. I like people who are confident. I like people who take pride in who they are. Obviously not wearing the pride t-shirts to showcase their pride, but I'm just saying just somebody who's confident in their own skin and who knows what they like, what they don't like, and who wouldn't give that much of a damn what people think about themselves. So yeah, I like those type of people. And I don't like people who are normally on their dating sites, in their profile, they're saying that, oh, they like women and all that, now they want to try something different, they want to experience life and this and that. So because by saying that, for me, like, I feel like you're putting me in that position where you're thinking I'm some sort of like a kink or fetish that you must have to try once before you die or something like that. So that's why that's something that doesn't do much for me. I don't go for those type of profiles. There will be some people who will like it. So if somebody likes it, then yeah, fine. That's your kink or your fantasy. You can do it. It doesn't work and it doesn't do anything for me. My type of guys would be like somebody who's okay with like exploring a little bit, but they're not all about like, oh, I want to kink every time, I want to have BDSM and all that every time. It's not like that. For me, it's not, because I'm not that into that. I'm very much of a vanilla person basically. I would say call myself vanilla, even though I'm not vanilla. Just solely because I am trans, so my anatomy is different, so it's not obviously vanilla. But at the same time, I would still call myself vanilla because I still like to do, like, sexually, I would still do things which are considered normal and which are considered like, you know, what probably guys like, girls like, I like the same thing. So there's no like hidden hush hush, shush shush taboo thing to what I like or what I don't like, you know. So yeah, that is me. And of course, like, because of, again I'm saying, because of my body anatomy, even though I don't want to try to be kinkster or fetish something, I'm automatically a fetish for some people. And I can't run away from this fact. I mean, I try to run away from this fact. I try to find somebody who's, you know, slightly normal. Like, throughout my life, I've been trying to find somebody who's normal, who wants to see me as I am. But unfortunately, I cannot put a blind eye to myself by saying, oh, somebody have to accept me like a woman and stuff. But most of the time when people can't see me as a woman, even though no matter how I look and stuff, because down there I still am a man. And even if I have surgery, that will be different than most biological women. And I'm born a certain way. So I have different experiences, I can't, for example, show my male pictures to some guys who are into me because they are completely different. I used to look completely different than I am now. So that can be really off-putting for people who actually likes me, especially guys who are into me, because they're into me right now because of my femininity. But once they know about how I used to look like a man, then obviously that gives them a red flag instantly. So, you know, things like that. It helps. Life as a trans person, especially dating life as a trans person, is not too easy, and it's not for the faint-hearted, you know, guys. That's why when a lot of people say, oh, a lot of people transition because of, you know, physical relationship with certain people, and it gets better and all this. Yes, it gets better if you are that sort of a person who wants to enjoy kink. But if you are actually going through gender dysphoria, if you're actually like, you are trans, and if you feel like a woman from inside, and you're transitioning for it, dating is not that easy for you. And I'm not going to say it's impossible to find somebody right, because I have found some good people as well. But at the same time, I'm going to say it requires a lot of effort, constant watch, and sometimes you feel tired of living a stealth life because you feel like you're hiding so much of yourself and you're not giving your authentic self to people, you know. And that's what I realized after some time. So I learned to accept myself. I was not like type of person who wanted to talk about transition, who wanted to talk about LGBTQ topics. Like, that's why I left my first YouTube channel. But then I came back on YouTube discussing all this and sharing my journey and experiences with you, because I feel like I can't run away from my fact, my reality. That is my authentic self. Even though if it's kink for some people, but that is me. And, you know, it's so important for me to accept myself. I'm not looking for a dating at the moment, but I would love to meet some nice people in this journey. Thank you so much for watching. Love you all. Happy dating.